I'm 53 years old and I hate making YouTube videos. Well, talking head ones. It's never really been my thing, but I'm here anyway, and there's a reason for that. The world I built my art and my career in, it doesn't exist anymore. And if you're watching this, yours probably doesn't either. Working your way up, paying your dues, it's dead. The ladder's gone. And honestly, good riddance. It was built for a world that never cared about you anyway. Netflix doesn't buy every pitch like they used to. Recording studios don't hire the way they used to. The ladder everybody told you to climb has been kicked over, and we're all standing here wondering, what the hell are we gonna do now? And I get it, that's terrifying. The rules changed practically overnight, and the safest thing to do is nothing. Maybe complain about the way things used to be. Get angry, stay angry. It feels better. But the truth is, fear is going to set you back more than any algorithm or budget cut ever will. I was 15 when I left home and realized nobody was coming to save me. Lived in situations most people would call pretty reckless. Just to understand that life, to collect all those stories that I'd be using in my art later on. There were years that went by that I didn't own a TV, a phone, a computer. Of course, we didn't have internet when I was 15. And you know what? Those were some of the most interesting and important years of my life because I was living, truly living. But this right now, this is so different. The hierarchies are broken and it's chaotic and it's uncertain. But it also means you don't need anybody's permission anymore. You want to shoot on pro cameras? You can. There was a time when you couldn't touch a pro camera. You want to build a home studio now? You can do that too. The barriers that kept you out for decades are gone. So the question isn't, how do I get back to the way things were? The question is, what am I going to do with this freedom? About a month ago, I started making these videos consistently. And I'm not gonna lie, I hated it at first. Still not sure I love it. But something interesting started to happen. People I hadn't talked to in years started reaching out. Old friends, collaborators, people I worked with a decade ago I thought had forgotten I existed. They'd been watching anonymously, quietly, signed out, and I realized you never know who's paying attention to you right now. We obsess over follower counts and view analytics like they mean something, but they don't. Refresh the page, compare ourselves to somebody else. That turns into a downward spiral. It turns into obsession. It takes you away from the things that you really want to do. And today, the internet doesn't work like that anymore. People watch with ad blockers, fake IPs, private browsing. They don't comment. They just watch. And then months later, they call you for a job. Your best client might be watching right now, and they haven't liked a single one of your posts. I don't have a massive following, but I've gotten more work in the past month than I have in the 6 months before that. Not because of my subscriber count, because I stopped waiting for somebody to hire me, and I started showing people what I know how to do. I started proving what I knew how to figure out. Stop chasing numbers, start building a portfolio. Stop proving that you need to be somebody else's assistant anymore, because the person who might be changing your career probably is watching right now. Now let's get a little more interesting. Everybody has access to the same gear now. Anybody can make a short film. Anybody can produce a track of music. They can send it out all over the world. The market is absolutely flooded. And most people see that as a problem. But I think it's an opportunity. Because here's the thing. Most of what is out there is boring. Technical? Sure. Polished? Yes. But interesting? Rare. Anybody can buy the camera, but what they can't buy, what you can't work your way up to, is taste, instinct, the ability to make a creative decision and also to have faith in that decision. Stories, that's what always cuts through. Not perfect lighting, flawless grading, perfectly technically polished tracks. No, stories and music that make people actually feel connected to something. People have been wired for stories since the beginning of time. That's never changed, and it's not going to go away. We all want stories. So while everybody else is trying to make the technically perfect thing, you get to be human. And that's the premium now. That's what wins. Now let's take a minute and talk about AI and how scary it is for most people. Almost everybody I've talked to think it's going to destroy art and music, everything. Art is dead, music is dead, we're all obsolete. Well, I spent the entire year of 2025 learning about AI. How it technically works, how it was built, and what it can do. I'm using it right now on a video project. And here is what I've found. AI can copy my face, but it can't copy the weight of the years that I spent dodging police, living in a drug house, leaving home at 15, meeting people on the streets who would change my life forever. And that's my premium. Your specific human flaws, things that AI can never mimic, those things are actually your most valuable professional assets. AI can mimic a talking head. It can generate some pretty cool images, but it can't replace an entire real human performance yet. It can't handle complex facial expressions, body language, the tiny instinctive things that make people real. I learned this while working on my project, so the rest of my project I had to do a pivot, and now I'm going back to old school live action shooting for most of it. I use AI as a tool. I use it for admin work, but I don't trust it to make something that doesn't look like an amateur made it. And while everybody's panicking about AI, you could be building a portfolio of real stories. They're distracted right now. This is your time. Make stories, music that make people cry, that make them laugh, that make them feel less alone. Because when AI finally does get good enough to fake you, you'll already have your tribe. Look, I don't like the consistency that this platform demands. I'm here because connection, and only connection, is really what matters. Isn't that what we all want? Not to feel alone? And that doesn't always look the same way. Sometimes not feeling so alone, feeling connected to somebody looks more like someone across the world listening to a song that makes them realize, hey, somebody out there wrote this song and feels the exact same way I do. I'm not alone. There's always going to be a dark side to everything, but don't let that stop you from putting out your first record, your first short film, your first anything, because all that does is keep you stuck at a job that you hate, wondering, what if I did that? What if I built that portfolio while everybody was panicking over AI? So if you're watching this and you feel something, if you're trying to skip the gatekeepers and tell your story, tell stories that actually matter, then we should keep talking. Because if there's just one person out there that feels something real because of what I'm doing, that's enough for me.